501st Spartan here. Now, to talk about the unit that has barely disappointed me and has defeated like a crap load of enemies. I had more use of these elite units than almost any elite units that I ever ran in any of my armies. That even more than Plague Marines. Even more than them. So, even more than Terminators. I would say the Sterngurad veterans, for 120 points for 5 men, it's actually really good. They basically has the same stats as a freaking Space Marine, like a normal TAC Marine. The only difference is their leadership is the leadership 9, and out of their war gear they have a special ammunition, which the special ammunition is the thing that makes these Sterngurad useful. The best one, honestly, for 120 points already, they're really cheap units that you could run for elites. Well, there is Vanguards as well. Vanguard veterans, they're actually like around 95 points for 5 men. However, since this is more of a shooting game in 6th edition, I say Sterngurad are way better right now. Now in my chapter, I do not run any jump packs. The only jump pack unit I have is one of my captains, which I made a long time ago, and he has a jump pack. I don't remember even why, but yeah. The point is that Sterngurad are basically, they're basically Space Marine sergeants. They all can take combi weapons, any of them, but remember, combi weapons are now 10 points a model. Back in the day, they used to be 5 points a model. However, you could take, I would mostly suggest combi meltas and sometimes even combi plasmas. The thing is, the thing about the Sterngurad, how I run them most of the time just with their bolters. There's no need for any upgrades than just having 10 of these men. So we're talking about, since each one of them are 22 additional points, we're talking about 230 points for a whole squad of 10 Marines. That's around 23 points model per in average. So honestly, that is pretty good. It's a little bit more than back in the days, than back in the 5th edition codex for TAC Marines. TAC Marines were 170 points now, and what's his name, Sterngurad, back in 5th edition they were 250 points, which was ridiculous. Though it still works, it's still a good unit to run. However, they got a little bit nerfed in my opinion, just a bit, because if you remember 5th edition, bolter drill worked on any bolt weapons. Now bolter drill, well, the chapter tactics for Imperial Fist excludes the special ammunition weapon. And whenever I mean a special ammunition, there's 4 types of ammo that the Sterngurad are allowed to use. There's ignores cover. It basically has, most of them, they all have the same stats as a bolter. They're all strength 4 except for one of them. Now, the first one is the ignores cover one. I think it's called the, what's its name? Oh shit, I don't even remember. Oh crap, I don't remember. I don't remember. Oh no, that's bad. Oh yeah, the Dragon Fire Bolt is basically an air burst. Fluff-wise, is basically it's an incendiary round slash air burst bolt. So it's the same thing as a bolter. It just ignores cover. That's the only difference. It's really good, like if you're going up against Pathfinders who are being jerks, and before you even marker light, you go ahead and rapid fire that shit into them, or just shoot them with that thing, because no matter what, you're gonna 3 to hit, 3 to wound. So they have no cover saves. I know most of the Pathfinder Tau players are gonna put their Pathfinder in some cover. So that's one way I would say it's pretty good up against. That and Dark Eldar. I would say, well, even though I never faced Dark Eldar, but I am assuming that will be a good way how to defeat how to use that specific bolts. So the next one is Hellfire rounds. Hellfire rounds are basically they're basically a Nerf version of a Tau Fire Warrior pulse rifle. It is 30 inches in length, which is really good. It gives you that extra length to shoot at. So if you know, like for example, you have orcs coming in at you and they're gonna be charging, but they're still far away, and you want to take some of them down, and you don't have range in your bolters, what do? You turn into your Sterngurad, tell them to, hey, go ahead, shoot them. Meanwhile, as soon as they get in next turn to 6 more inches, we shoot them with a normal bolter. So Kraken rounds first. Strength 4, AP 4. AP 4 just it's actually really good against like guardsmen. Like any guardsman will die easily with that. And at that ridiculous range of 30 inches, well, it's not really ridiculous, but for a bolter, it's actually pretty good. So, yeah, it has its use. So, next is the Hellfire round. This is my personal favorite round. Out of all the 4, well, 5 technically. You could shoot the normal bolt guns if you like. I would say this one's the best, in my opinion. Sure, it is AP5. However, it is poison on a 2+, so you wound on a 2+. So imagine that shenanigans. You could just go up against, in which I did go up against like bigger units than they are. For example, I went up against Plague Marines, wounded on 2s. Even though they're toughness 5, I should be wounding on 5s regularly. But this time, and took the fight to them. Yeah, I actually caused more casualties wounding on 2s and shooting them with like missile launchers, because the more amount of dice that you have is the more likely you will kill at least more than the big weapons. For example, you could have used the assault cannon, be rending on against the against the Plague Marines, but they will still have their feel no pain. You will have to roll a 6 in that case, which is gonna be really tough in my opinion. So wounding on 2s in this case, it's really, really good in your favor. And no matter how many dice they need to take for armor saves, they're gonna fail at least 2 or 3. Like if they're rolling like, let's just say I wounded 10 shots, okay? I have 10 dudes already, 10 wounds allocated to that Plague Marine squad. Yeah, it's gonna kill at least 3 or 4 dudes. And probably 3 dudes, because Feel No Pain will give them an extra dice, like 5 up after they get wounded. So yeah, it's gonna cost more damage than if you just fire with 1 last cannon or like 2 missile launchers. One of them fails, 2 to wound. Okay, no armor saves, though they have a Feel No Pain, so they still survive. So yeah, at least you kill a little bit more models with that. Even you could go up against like heavy units, like Great Unclean Ones, Riptides. Riptide's a good choice, although they have a 2-up armor save and a Feel No Pain. But still, it will shoot them, it will crush them, and at least will cost 1 wound. At least. Maybe not all the time, but at least most of the time will hit at least, and will damage a Riptide. So yeah. And the last one is the Vengeance round. The Vengeance round is a more dangerous round. It's how could I say? Yeah, it's more dangerous, because it's risky. All you need to do is not roll a 1. That's all. Because it's a Strength 4 AP3 weapon, although it has a shortened distance of 18 inches, it gets hot. It's like a plasma gun. I say, unless you're desperate for that shot, or you have some way how to get twin linked on your bolters, no, on your Sterngurad, For example, if you run Tigurius, you have Divination, and you have Guide. I think they give that. I think they gives you Twin Linked. I guess. Well, there's a Psychic Power that gives you Twin Linked. I barely use Psychic Powers, by the way. Yeah, you don't want to roll ones, because if you roll ones and if you lose and if you fail that armor save, you are losing. You're just wasted 22 points. Unless you know, like, you have, I don't know, probably like a few chaos Corn Berserkers coming in, or like something with a 3-up armor save, and you just want to crush them, and they're coming in close because they're gonna assault you next turn. Yes, use them. It's risky, but use them, because then either if they're fearless, well, you gotta crush them all. Then you gotta take everything you have and kill them before they assault you. But if they're not fearless, you shoot them with just your Sterngurad that are gonna be assaulted, and pray for the dice god to actually kill a few, and so they could fall back. Because the thing is, you don't want them to have that 3-up armor save. That's his only use basically for the Vengeance round. Overall, it's kind of risky. I'd rather just run a plasma gun. Now, for other upgrades like heavy bolters and storm bolters and other stuff like that, I say not to run it. And why not to run it is because you're not gonna get that ability of the special ammunition. Before, the special ammunition worked on any bolt weapons that the Sterngurad squad uses. So it honestly, it was pretty good. You could run a heavy bolter like, hey biatch, I got my freaking heavy bolter here that has 2 wounds on any models, or ignores cover, which I think it was kind of OP. Maybe that's why the reason Crudence kind of said, you know what, I'm gonna nerf this a little bit. However, the points cost will go down. It's actually a pretty good nerf. I'm like, whoa, slow down here. Oh, that's the model I have here. That I wanted that. When I was reading the codex at first, I'm like, oh wait, I can't do this crap anymore. I just want to wreck stuff up, and now I can't even upgrade them with heavy bolters, because heavy bolters on this squad is useless. So no upgrades really. If you want for lulz, I would say upgrade them with combi weapons, if you have the points. If you don't have the points and you still want to run the Sterngurad squad, just run your Sterngurad squad. There's no need for any upgrades and just have 10 models. And combat squad is a good idea. I would say the more men, the merrier. So that way you have a full 10-man squads, at least separated, and so you could grab objectives. If you're running Cantor, of course. If not, at least you could lock objectives and you could shoot a lot of stuff. Now, there's other tactics using drop pots and having them on a suicide mission. It is good. It's actually a pretty successful suicide mission. Sure, 3 or 4 will die. But now with Tau having intercept and what's his name? Yeah, mostly intercept. The thing that hurts that drop pod Sterngurad thing is intercept. Any unit that has intercept and shoots those units, they're gonna take them out. And I had this even with normal tactical marines. I had this happening to me. I lost out of 10 men, one of them with a flamer, everyone else with bolters, and the sergeant. I had to combat squad him as soon as I got to drop in the drop pod, because I needed that drop pod to take out the pathfinders that they were hiding in cover, and at least get first blood. This is a game, my last game against Tau, and I will say my best game against Tau, aside from the time that I got teamed up. Tau and Grey Knights, basically we were having a free-for-all, and Tau and Grey Knights decided to become cheese and try to get me because I was trying to get the relic, which I did and barely got it, and I won against the 2 cheese knights and Tau. Well, it wasn't cheese knights, but it was Grey Knights. So it was really annoying, and it was against this Storm Raven whenever it was painted ugly ass red, and the freaking last cannon in this side was broken. So yeah. What was I about to say? But yeah, Sterngurad actually do their job well. You could put them in the drop pod if you know what you're, if you know that you're gonna kill a lot of units. If you know your opponent has intercept stuff like quad guns or even like a Riptide, that's the thing that crushed me. And I lost like out of that. Still, back to that story about the drop pods against Pathfinders. Out of the 10 men, I lost, yeah. One squad had 2 of them, the other squad had 3. So I lost 7 men right there. But thankfully, I kept my flamer lived. So I just burned the living crap out of those Pathfinders, and then whenever they were, and then after that, I just shot them with the remaining bolters, which were not really as much. So just crush them right there, and got first blood quickly. But at the cost was like really great because now imagine that with Sterngurad, you will lose a lot of points right there. Probably would have lost the drop pod, so you would lose that first blood. Your opponent will get that first blood, and now you'll be like completely screwed because the point of the squad you wanted to have the first blood. It's actually the best victory point you could have, because only one of you two will get first blood. So risky, yes. Successful, probably yes as well. Running it with Sterngurad, drop out with Sterngurad, not my style. I'd rather just have him walk or have him cover from deep, because deep strikes sometimes are like the craziest crap that I always go up against. Farsight bombs just come in, try to kill my warlord. Next turn, I just go ahead and destroy him with my Sterngurad. Mostly my Sterngurad, I play him as a defensive role, and sometimes I have another Sterngurad squad, combat squatted, so I have 15 Sterngurad with nearby my warlord, and then the other 5 are going into the offensive. And when I mean the offensive, they go in as with as much cover as possible. I look for areas that has cover, and that way they don't get crushed immediately, because only have 3 up armor safe. So there's a lot of AP3 weapons out there, or even AP2 weapons out there that will just tear that armor into shreds. So yeah, overall I say it is probably, in my opinion, it is a good 8 out of 10 unit to run as an elite unit. I would say they're way better than Terminators in the terms of what they do and what variety they have in terms of abilities. Their special ammunition just gives them a lot of variety of, depending on the situation you are in. So and as long as you support them, they will last you a while. So, but yeah, I say I run 1 or 2, at least 1. And if you can't really buy the $50 box of Sterngurad, that's okay. I would say my easiest opinion of how to run Sterngurad is you buy a box of TAC Marines, and you, what's it called? Well, in my chapter, Rainbow Warriors, what I do is I put golden trim on top of the helmets. That means they're a Sterngurad unit, and I kind of give them a little bit more golden stuff. So I bought a Sterngurad kit, and I converted them with this another TAC Marine squad box, and now I have like pretty nice looking Sterngurad units that are more sophisticated, I say, and cheaper, because you bought the Sterngurad squad, so you have 5 men. You could buy the TAC Marine squad, which is you get 10. And I say you could get the command squad box, which is cheaper than both of them, and you get another 5. There you go, and you have 2 squads of Sternguards easily. Or if you can't, if you just want to get 10 units, I would say just buy the Tech Marine box and paint it as nice as possible and neater than your other units. Also, give them a little bit more props. Like some of my units have, like my Sterngurad have like orc bits. Like this guy has orc armor because I put a little fluff on this guy. Basically, he's good at killing orcs in this case, and has a really nice bolter. There's another one. There's another few. Like this guy has what's his name? He has more flame stuff because he's the Scorcher unit. We call him Scorch. So, but yeah, you could make him nice with whatever you have. You could actually convert him. Like this guy even has a chainsaw on his bolter. How cool is that? You could just convert him. Even put like a flamer or even a pulse carbine, because I decided, hey, he got that weapon from a Tau before. Might as well put him in the back. So yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion about the Sterngurad. My opinion on how to run them, how to even get them. So that way you save money, and you still get the unit. Remember, the Space Marines, in my opinion, I would say the easiest army to convert. You could just buy one Tac Marine box, and you could have a captain and probably a squad of Sternguards if you like. Even a little bit more. But yeah. So, this is 504 Spartan. Please make sure to subscribe and like my videos. And I will see you guys in the next video, and I'm probably going to make another update.